Hi everyone, welcome back. Let's write some more Leetcode today. Today we are solving apply operations to an array. So the problem states that for each two elements next to each other in the array, we will need to perform this operation. So if nums of I is equal to nums of I plus 1, then we need to multiply nums of I by 2 and set nums of I plus 1 to 0. And after performing all the operations, we need to shift all the zeros to the end of the array and all the non-zeros to the left side of the array. So if we look at this example, 2 and 2 are equal, so we change 1 to 4 and the right side is 0. 1 and 1 are equal, so we change 1 to 2 and set the right side to 0. And then in the end, we shift them all to the left and shift all the zeros to the right. So now that we have seen some examples, let's get to how we can solve this problem. So first, we will perform all the operations, and to save space, we can just perform the operations on the array directly. And after performing the operations, we will use this index tracker and we will iterate through the array again. Whenever the number is not equal to 0, then we will put that number at whatever is on the index variable and increment the index by 1. And having gone through that, we will set up a while loop for while index is less than the length of the array, and then we want to put all the elements at that index, set them to 0. So let's go over this example. So first we'll perform the operations. 1 does not equal to 2, 2 is equal to 2, so we change this to 4, change this to 0. 0 doesn't equal 1, 1 is equal to 1, so we multiply by 2, change it to 0, and 0 is equal to 0, but multiply by 2, and this is 0, so they stay the same. So now we need to loop through and update the index along the way. So 1 is not 0, so we set 1 to index 0, increment index by 1. 4 is not 0, we set index 1 to 4, increment index by 1. So it's now 2. 0 is 0, skip over. 2 is not 0, so we set index 2 to 2, and we increment the index by 1 again. So now it's 3. 0 is equal to 0, so skip. 0 is equal to 0, so we skip again. So now we need to continue incrementing index and putting every number as 0 along the way. So index 3, change to 0. Index 4, change to 0. Index 5, change to 0, increment index again, but now it's the length of the array, so we can stop there. And the time complexity would be O of n, where n is the number of elements in the array, because we need to iterate through this entire array. And the space complexity would be O of 1, because we are not using any extra space. So now let's get to the coding part. So first, for I in range, the length of nums minus 1, because we need to loop through the array and perform the operation. So in nums of I is equal to nums of I plus 1. Then we need to multiply nums of I by 2, nums of I times 2, and then we need to set nums of I plus 1 to 0. And now we need to set this index to 0, and then we need to loop through nums again. And if I is not equal to 0, we need to set the index to nums of I and increment index by 1. So nums of index, we will set it to nums of I, and then increment index by 1. And now we can make the while loop for the remaining indexes. We need to set them all to 0. Equal to 0, and index plus equal 1, and we can return nums. Alright, let's see if it works. Okay, perfect. Hope this was helpful. Thank you all for watching. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to leave down in the comments section below, and I hope to see you all again soon.